Hey everyone, this is Elijah. There are a lot of misconceptions surrounding the game of Pump It Up, and today we're going to talk about the most common ones I've seen through various colorful comments across my videos. Hit like and subscribe for more Pump It Up content. Let's jump right in. What is the name of this game?
You have a doppelganger who kills it on the arcade dance game machine.
I've encountered a lot of comments that name drop Dance Dance Revolution. Shaggy going crazy on that DDR. Gamer's version of Zumba, DDR. Her, where'd you learn to dance? Him, DDR. And then you have Dexerto, who's known for online video game and pop culture journalism. They don't even know the name of this game. They Photoshop a bunch of DDR arrows over a picture of me and my co-op partner, and then they title it Dance Dance Revolution Duo. It has since been taken down, but a large part of me has to wonder, how did this even happen? You see arrows on a screen that you have to step to in time with the music, people will think of DDR. It's a massive franchise, practically ingrained into our pop culture. It also doesn't help that when you search up Dance Dance Revolution on YouTube, one of the first results you get is Beethoven virus DDR level Asian. It's got a lot of views, it's been around for a long time, the video itself is great. But the title is wrong. This is not Dance Dance Revolution.
The hell is the one with the tap in the middle? I don't remember. I think it's Pump It Up.
This game is called Pump It Up. At face value, it's a similar game. There are arrows that you have to step to in time with the music, but in reality, there are a lot of things that make the game stand out between each other. We're not going to go over all of the differences in this video, but I will link an article in the description. For quick reference though, DDR is a 4-panel layout game. It uses up, down, left, and right, while Pump It Up is a 5-panel game. It uses the 4 corners and the center. So while this is a video covering Pump It Up, this next misconception applies to DDR as well, and it involves a part of the cab that's frankly unmissable. It's this thing right here. People have called it many things, the rail, the pole. It has an official name. It's known as the bar. In most of my videos, I hold on to it while I play, and so I'll get a lot of comments like this. Holding on is cheating. Cheating can't hang on to anything that's assisting in allowing your feet to move faster. Good effort though. A bar to hang on to should be illegal. Bar is cheating. Ask anyone who does DDR competitions back in the day. Key phrase, back in the day.
Under Canon D, but
what about dignity?
When Pump It Up first released back in 1999, bar play was frowned upon amongst the community. People saw the bar as a crutch that went against the original intent of the game. If you used the bar back in the early 2000s, you may have been labeled a bar hugger, or something even worse. But that was decades ago, and things have changed a lot since then. As players began to master the game's content, the developers continued to push the limits on what we thought was physically possible in every subsequent release. It got to the point to where attempting the hardest levels without the bar was no longer viable. In fact, it was dangerous. And so using the bar was no longer seen as a crutch. It became a necessity. In today's landscape of Pump It Up, high-level content is created with the intent that you are using the bar. All major tournaments have legalized bar play, and many of the negatively connotated terms associated with using the bar have been pretty much wiped away from dance game jargon. That's not to say that no bar play is eliminated. It still remains an excellent way of play, but to say that using the bar is cheating is simply not true. Bar usage became a norm in order to adapt to Pump It Up's increasing difficulty, but it wasn't a flip of the switch in the sense that holding the bar was the only thing that needed to change. Players also needed to find ways to further optimize their form and playstyle, and that came down to understanding how the pads we played on really worked, and then using that to our advantage. The panels themselves are the most visible part of the pad. These are what you step on in order to register inputs. But the misconception is not the panels, it's what lies underneath them. What does the inside of a pad look like? To someone who's never seen the insides of one, they may think of it like this. One sensor in the center of the panel. This is a totally logical assumption, by the way. But then when you see high-level gameplay in practice, you'll see that many players don't often reach the center of a panel. Our feet naturally gravitate to the sides and edges instead. And because of that, I'll get a lot of comments like this. Are his feet actually hitting the squares? Ain't even hitting the arrows. The fact that 60% of those steps never even touch the gamepads. Fake. not even stepping on the pads. You suck. You haven't hit any of those buttons. You suck so bad, it's ridiculous. Your feet aren't even getting anywhere near the buttons. The inside of a panel consists of 4 sensors that are placed along the sides. These are what they look like, by the way. I had always pictured them as circles before seeing one for myself, but having them in this shape makes a lot of sense because they take up a lot of space that way, and it means that when they're on the sides, you don't have to move your feet so much to activate them. There's actually a name for this too. It's known as the heel-toe method, where instead of moving your entire foot to a panel, you utilize your heels and toes to save energy as you tackle high-intensity patterns. It's not that we aren't stepping on the pads, we are. We're just preserving our energy. So now we've reached the last misconception we'll be talking about today. I saved it for last since it's a little bit different than the others. There seems to be this stigma that you cannot be this good at games like Pump It Up or Dance Dance Revolution while also living a meaningful and productive life. You literally won nothing. Maybe spend the time more productively, like looking for a job application. $10 says he's in his parents' garage. LOL, this guy will never get a girlfriend. Bet society pays the bills for the game to be played all the time to get to that level. Tax dollars and my future social security all are going to this talent. Go to work, get a job. Now go get a job and be a productive member of society. 25 years old and this is your goals? Losers! So I figure the best way I can address this is to just tell you a little bit about myself. Okay, let's start with the altos first, then the baritones, then the sopranos third. Who's going first?
Alto.
All right. My name is Elijah, but my students call me Mr. Tang. I'm a music teacher, and I teach them things that really matter. My girlfriend is also a music teacher. We've been together since 2021, and she's even getting into Pump It Up a little bit herself. I began playing Pump It Up in 2019, and I was already playing Dance Dance Revolution since 2009, so dance games have been a large part of my childhood. When I graduated college, I had 2 goals in mind. One was to get a place of my own, and 2 was to purchase my own Pump It Up machine. Most of the videos I take are on this cab right here. It's not actually mine, but it's my friend's. Shoutouts to Tomatonium. Pump It Up is a big part of my life, but it's not the only part of my life. And you don't have to make it the only part of your life to be good at it. Those were the biggest misconceptions I've noticed surrounding the game of Pump It Up. There are other ones I didn't mention that delve deeper into the game's mechanics, but maybe I'll save those for a future video. If you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This is a video I wanted to make for a while, and I'm glad I was able to finish it. Long-form video content is not something I'm too familiar with, so any feedback that I can apply into any future projects would be greatly appreciated. Like and subscribe for more though, and thank you again for watching. Take care, everyone.